All right, let's start the interview.
All right, so here we go. Let's start this interview with a business owner. Tell me who you are and what Flowstate Applications does in plain terms, like you are explaining it to someone who has never heard of custom epoxy flooring before.
Right. So I'm Kody Whitford from the Adirondacks in New York. Basically, epoxy flooring is just kind of a way to elevate or update the way you look at your floors, right? So not only are they fun to look at, but they can be completely customizable to your favorite colors. They're extremely durable. That's kind of what it's meant for, is to upgrade the durability of your floor by laying down and spreading out a coat of epoxy resin. And what that does is it binds to your floor and it gives you like a really slick, glossy looking top. For most indoor projects, that's where we would steer, is the epoxy floors, but we also do outdoor patios, and we're experimenting with some countertops and stuff like that. So there's options as far as if you want slip resistance, if you're looking for that vibrant, glossy look, or anything in between, really. It's just a way to customize your floor and add a little something to it.
Create a little customization with the shiny, making it look pretty,
Yeah,
that kind of thing, right?
there's metallic options, right? So I don't know, you've probably seen on social media, there's it's a lot of AI videos, but what everybody comes up to me and says is, oh, do you do like the rocks in the floor and the rivers? Like I seen one the other day where there's a tree in the floor and they make so you can see the tree in the floor. It's like, no, that's all AI. But, maybe one day, it depends, where the technology goes and stuff like that. But for now, it's all about the aesthetics, the colors. If you're looking for durability outside or slip resistance in your garage, maybe even an updated countertop, kind of make it look like marble, that's something within our capabilities. Right now, that's where we're at. And maybe tap into making some custom tables in the future, or some custom chairs. The possibilities with it are endless.
Customize everything.
Might as well, man. You'd be living in a slick box before you know it.
All right. So how did this business get started? And was it always like the plan for you, or did you like find it?
Yeah, it kind of found me a little bit. Going through social media, it popped up on my feed all the time. And as I started to look more into it, I kind of said to myself, like, man, I could do this. This is a way for me to incorporate my artistry, which, I'm a true artist at heart, as well as I do. Way back in the day, it is when it all started. Even you give me a pencil, a marker, a paintbrush, I can make something look real. And I know that around here in this area in particular, contractors do very well. You see a lot of lawn mowing services, handyman stuff. And so when I saw this, I thought that was a great way to combine the two. The career of an artist is kind of difficult. So it's the reason I didn't pursue, something along the lines more of artistry is just for that. It's difficult to find jobs. There's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of time. I just thought that this was a great way to combine the two, the contractual aspect of it, giving somebody something custom to their specs, and combining my creative ability.
All right, next one. What made you decide to build this for yourself instead of working for someone else?
I have a regular job now, and
Same.
I talk to a lot of guys up there, and they're all good at their things. They all got their side hustles and stuff like that. So the saying keeps popping up, though, every time we talk, is why work for somebody else's dream when you could be working towards some of your own, right? in these big companies, huge corporations, what have you, whatever you want to call it. To them, and to me, it kind of just seems like you're easily replaceable, right? You're just a number, or maybe even they might not even know your name, for all you know. But you're working towards their goals, right, while you're there. So that saying kept popping up to me every morning. I kept thinking about it and finally decided that I was going to pull the trigger on something, because you can talk about it all you want, but until you start doing it, you're never going to know if you could have been successful, how fast you could grow. And who knows, maybe it's something that you don't love at first, or you have an interest in it, right? But it's not your passion, and it could turn into your passion. And
Right.
I just thought that this was a very good avenue for that for me. Because like I said, I could combine my artistry with actually doing something that's worth putting eyes on,
Yeah, and it builds like, somebody can customize anything that they'd want for themselves, like, oh, you've seen this kind of countertop anywhere, you've seen like this kind of floor, at a general whatever, but a customer's going to come into their store and like, wow, that's like a freaking Yu-Gi-Oh card on the floor or something like that. Like, wow, like I'm going to remember like this store, like, I loved, what was it, Blue Eyes White Dragon or something like that. And you're just like, that is awesome. Like, who did you get to do that? Or like, wow, like, how did this go? Like that kind of thing, it sticks with customers. So like, yeah, no, I love that, especially like remembering our childhood with all your drawing and all that creative crap.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, this sounds like a great avenue for you, man. I'm happy for you.
And I'm glad you said the thing about the cards, because one of the things that we're trying to offer here is we're going to do like embedding, right? So let's say you found your Yu-Gi-Oh cards from back in the day, and you want to get your son or your daughter into that. And what better way to put your childhood on display for them by embedding that right in your floor? You got everything on display. It's a conversation piece. It's something great to look at. There's a lot of detail involved. I just think it's cool, man. It's something that I think that I'd be able to pull off.
Plus, it brings you back to your childhood when like things were easier and you didn't have to stress about anything. I remember Charizard cards being like crazy. I had 2 of them. I have no idea where they are now, but man, if I had those today, everybody knows Charizard.
Yeah, it might be a different story if you had those cards today.
Yeah, I might have a few things paid off, but still fun. And I had them, but that stuff brings you back. But walk me through what a typical job looks like from the first conversation with a customer to the moment the floor is finished and you are packing up.
Yeah, it usually starts with a phone call and a good conversation, whether they saw one of my advertisements or maybe word of mouth. It's that initial conversation that really starts to build the relationship with the customer. After that, you set up a time to meet. I will usually do free quotes or all right, I got my cat walking on the floor right now. Usually, what I would do,
come on.
Yeah, what I offer is free quotes and consultations on whatever surface it is that you're looking to get upgraded, right? So I'm willing to travel an hour 15, hour 20, within reason, right? Burlington area, Plattsburgh area, anywhere as far south as like Saratoga. And even tapping into, some western side of Vermont places, little more western New York, Tupper Lake area. I'm willing to go into all those areas and give you a free quote on upgrading your space. So once I go and assess, there's a lot of factors that come into play here. You have your surface preparation. If there's low spots on the concrete, if the concrete's all beat up, crack filling, all that has to be taken into consideration. I would suggest certain products based off of what I'm seeing. So if the concrete, for example, has a problem with moisture, we offer a moisture barrier base layer coat. It's somewhat of an upgrade, but if you want something done right, the saying goes, you get what you pay for, right? So this is going to guarantee that that your floor isn't going to bubble, or I'm going to have to come back in a year and fix the whole thing again, because these products are superior. They're industrial grade, high quality products that you can't just get at Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart or something like that. So after explaining all that to them, part of the products, then we start looking at what avenue they want to go to, as far as, do they want durability? Are they looking for it to be slip resistant? Or the other direction would be more along the lines of aesthetically pleasing, or their favorite color. And then even tapping into some of the custom embeddings. You know, we could do baseball cards on your floor. Do you like Frank Sinatra? Okay, maybe we could put some vinyl records of Frank Sinatra in your floor, and you'll be able to walk across them, and it's smooth like glass. Are you into maps, postcards, stamps, all of that? It's anything that you can picture, we can just about do it, except for right now, the AI videos that we discussed earlier with the trees and the waterfalls and the volcanoes in the floor. Maybe one day, but right now we're keeping it real. And after they decide what avenue they want to go through, I'll write them up an operating agreement. I like to call it an investment, because, you know, it's going to add value to your house. It's going to add value to whatever room that you decide to lay this down in. Write them up the agreement, usually send it to them through email. I'll give them a follow-up phone call if they agree to the job. The first day is preparation day when I show up. So I'll schedule them out maybe a couple weeks, depending on what my availability is. We'll show up, we'll do some preparation. We'll make sure the areas are clean the entire time. And each day, it is a multiple day process, but each day is only a couple hours, right? So your surface preparation is maybe an hour or two, depending on the size of the space. Your base layer is maybe an hour or two, laying that out. What really takes the most time is letting the product dry overnight, right? And keeping that product safe from critters or flies, dust, you know, anything like that could compromise the integrity of that product drying on the floor. But we come back the next day after, so day 2 we're on now. We're going to come back and sand that base layer down to create a bonding surface for that next main money layer, we call it. Because believe it or not, concrete's hard, but it's actually absorbent like a sponge, you know? So the more you rough it up, and the more that you, I guess, make it more porous, the better that epoxy is going to grab and hold on to that, right? And so that's going to be good for your longevity. But day 2, we're going to come back, we're going to sand that base layer, and then we're going to lay down the money coat, whether that be metallic or regular plain colored. We offer a quartz sand system, aggregate sand system for, you know, your outdoor stuff. And then also our vinyl flaked floor is also another option for them. So depending on what it is, this day 2, you'll be laying down the groundwork for that system. You're going to need to let that dry towards the end of the day. Usually 24 hours is the time that I give customers to not walk on it. Don't, you know, test it out. Don't go over and poke it with your finger to see if it's dry yet or not. And that's all in the contract. But on that 3rd day, when I come back, it's a top layer day. So if you want that shiny coat or you want that gritty finish, that's going to be another couple hours. And then on day 4, I would come back and make sure everything's all dry. There's no bubbles. There's no imperfections. And, you know, we receive the last part of the pavement, and hopefully I got a happy customer by the end of all of it, and they're willing to recommend that to their friends or their family or whoever else.
All right, cool. Because like that was a long thing. I wrote down some questions like about like what you were saying. So say like I wanted my logo, like if I had a lobby, you know, someday, you would be able to like make up that logo, put it like right in my main floor and make it nice and pretty. So like it's my building and my floor.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So we, what it is, it's like a perforated sticker. So it's got like the little holes in it, and that allows some of that base layer to seep up through the logo, and that really locks it in to wherever you need. But it's just like a sticker. You lay down the base layer, you put the sticker on, and then you lay the top layer down, and then it's in there.
Okay. And you said like you go back multiple days. Is that for like every single job that you do, or is that like for like just big jobs or like certain materials, that kind of thing?
It's going to be for most jobs, right? Because the longest part about it, like I said, is letting that product dry properly as well. There are fast drying products, and there are some just regular speed dry. Like it's like adhesive, right? You got your part A and your part B. Depending on that, it could be a fast drying system. It could just be the regular system. But most jobs are going to be multiple days, just because I would like to go back and check, make sure my work is proper before I move on to the next step.
Right. You put your name on it. So you want it to be a high quality and be like, I feel comfortable with letting this sit. So that way if people ask, they know that Flowstate Applications was the one that did it, not like, oh, that looks like crap. Like why would you let someone do that? Like that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah,
your name is on this, this is your reputation that you're putting out there. So absolutely, you want that high quality.
Yep.
All right. So that finally answers that whole question with all my added questions with that. So
sorry, I was rambling there for a minute because
hey, typically this is like a video that people can automatically go back to, look for details, like, make sure that this is what they'd want. And, the more details you give for free, the more that people are going to want your expertise on these kinds of things. So, this is our video. If the people don't like it, they don't like it, but who's not going to like more information? They can fast forward or skip this part.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, man. But as far as, product, people think it's easy. You just dump the bucket and you spread it out and it dries, but it's not that easy. There's taping, there's preparation, there's a bag of responsibilities that go along with these jobs.
Right. They only see the cover of the book and the back of the book. They don't read the whole thing.
Exactly. I like that.
There is a big visual difference between the standard floor and what you install. How do you help customers who have never seen epoxy in person understand what they are actually getting? Besides like listening to our huge question right there. Like if someone was to just pass you on the street, they ask you this quick question, hey, what's the difference? Like, how can I really tell like what was actually done?
Yeah. So right now what I'm working on is building some samples. Some pieces of tile 1 by 1 or pieces of wood that I can take with me on these jobs. And if, somebody really has no idea and can't envision what that final product is going to look like, that's where I would come in with some of these samples. Let's say they don't know what vinyl flake looks like. Well, I have a sample for you right here that you'd be able to see how it feels and see how it looks as well. Also, I have an app that I built, and it's on my Facebook business page, and it's a visualizer app. You can go in and upload a photo of the space that you would like to upgrade, and you can pick your colors, you can pick your style of system, and within just a few seconds, it'll be able to pop out an image for you that is your floor up to your specs and your preferences of colors and all that.
Incorporating the AI for how people can like customize their own things is the way that the world is going. So you getting in on that early is really good.
Yeah. So as well as something physical that somebody can touch and look at, I would probably steer them towards the app that's on my page, because you can go crazy with that, with the amount of colors that are available to choose. There's just hundreds of options. And if you maybe think you like green and then you see green on your floor and it doesn't look so good anymore, well, guess what? I don't need to go back to the truck and grab another physical sample. You can just go right onto the app, change the color, and boom, it'll give you another image within seconds of that same floor with just a different system.
What is something about the preparation and installation process that most people on the outside would never notice, but makes all the difference in the final result of the work?
Yeah, it's gotta be, I would have to say, the concrete grinding and the crack filling and the joint filler stage of it. So your first day, that's really where it's going to make or break your project. If that epoxy is not able to bind well with the surface it's going down on, that's going to cause you a lot of issues. It's got to be clean, but it's got to be kind of roughed up at the same time, so there can't be any dust, there can't be any dirt, no moisture. All these things taken into consideration go through each one of their own individual tests. So we'll test for moisture. We're going to go through and vacuum the thing twice and then sweep it and then vacuum it again to make sure that that one little pebble or piece of dust isn't going to cause an air pocket in the base layer of your epoxy. So and making sure everything's level with the cracks. You don't want too much product falling into one of these cracks or low spots, right? Because then it's going to be uneven. So going through and making sure that surface is completely flat by filling in the cracks, sanding it down, and then also making it a little absorbent with your concrete grinder. That stage, day one, is the most critical that I don't think people watching videos of it online would really comprehend.
I'm a big analogy guy, and like when you were talking like in the beginning, so tell me if I'm wrong. The way that you're describing it is kind of like going to the dentist for a filling. Like they have to go in there, drill it all out before they put the filling in, and if they don't actually clear it out, that filling can fall out and just make it 10 times worse. Is that a similar kind of aspect?
Yeah, that's a great analogy, honestly, because even when they do put the filler in, if they put too much in, well, then they got to go and smooth it out again for you, and then you can get your regular scheduled cleaning right after that. So yeah, that's a good analogy.
All right, cool. Because I hate fillings and I don't want to go back twice. So you want the job done right. So good. What surprised you most about running a business like this that nobody warned you about before you started?
Yeah, I got to say that some of the equipment and the machines, they're up there in price. These are not just, well, let me work a little bit of overtime this week and I can buy this machine type of machines. These are a commitment. Some of these machines that you have to buy for your concrete preparation. And, it's the saying goes kind of, you're an analogy guy. I love sayings, and the saying goes, buy once, cry once, right? I feel like I've bought once and cried more than once on a few of these things that I've bought so far towards my business. So it's a
all these things, you don't have to rent them.
If I needed something in a pinch, like if one of my pieces of equipment failed, yes, I could probably go rent what I needed right on the spot. But like I was saying, the products that you can get, the actual epoxy and that kind of stuff as well, they're top quality products. So I would hate to lay a top quality product down on the floor where I didn't have a top quality machine to give it the best finish that I could possibly give it, or the best prepared surface before even I lay anything down that I could possibly get. So in a pinch, yes, I could rent something and get by, but I would feel better about if I were able to use my own equipment and knowing that my equipment is going to do a better job than the rental equipment.
I guess what I'm asking is like you already own all the equipment that you will need for a job. Like say if someone saw this video and was like, "Oh, I need to call him. I have this job. Will I be able to get it this like try to start like if you had an opening, be like, "Oh, yeah, I can get this started next week." Like you
Yeah,
have everything that you need.
we're open for business, man. I mean, we're ready to go. It took a little time to get these things is all I was trying to say. It wasn't
Okay,
like,
that makes more sense.
it wasn't like next week I'm going to buy this and then next week I'm going to buy everything else. It was kind of 1 week at a time, one piece at a time until I had, a good bag of tools here that I could bring to a job and get something done.
Okay. Yeah, that was my main thing is just trying to figure out, make sure like you had everything able to go right then and there if a customer called you and was like, "Hey, can you start?" All right. So next question. What does a good week look like for you versus a stressful one?
A good week would be, I guess, not having too much on my plate at once, right? So, customers knowing exactly what they want and being open to when that job can get done. That's what a start of a good week looks like for me. If a bad week kind of would be if I went and quoted all these jobs and all the customers that I quoted jobs for aren't quite sure, and then I start getting phone calls all in 1 day or 2 days asking to change or moving jobs back or, anything along those lines. Too much too fast, I would say, would be a bad week for me. I like when things are smooth and planned cordially, week out at a time. If I could do 1 job or 2 jobs a week, that's ideal for me because I can focus, I can put my full attention on your job versus having to worry about the job I'm going to next. Does that make sense?
It does, and it reminds me of like my first interview with a business owner, where Florian, he was like pretty much the thing that makes it easiest is when the customer knows exactly what they want and they don't keep trying to change their minds or like edit and change things as we go along. That makes it a nice and smooth, easy transition.
I can agree
And a
with
nice job, easy job to do.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
All right. What is the hardest part of keeping this going that has nothing to do with the actual floors and installation?
I don't know. I guess maybe just your confidence, right? Like I get things all don't happen at once. You got to kind of build a name for yourself a little bit and just hooking those first few jobs or those first few big jobs. Maybe you were hoping for something and it didn't come through. Just staying after it, I think is the hardest part, but it's one of the most vital parts.
Next question. How do you want a customer to feel from the first call to the moment they see the finished floor for the first time?
How am I looking for them to feel at the end of it?
Pretty much like they could, "Hey Kody, I got a floor. It looks like, I'm not gonna swear because I'm on video. Hey, it looks terrible. I think I need your services. What can you do for me?" And then from all the way to be like, wow, like this is amazing. This is better than I thought. How would like explain like how you would want that process ideally?
Yeah, like kind of like what you said, they're unsure maybe of the products, but they know they want an upgrade, right? So I think if I was able to make some suggestions for them and have them be more comfortable as the process goes along, and then at the end of it, I want them to feel like they made a great investment, like something that's going to impress their friends, their family, and something that's going to last a long time. So to take someone that doesn't quite know or isn't quite sure if this is what they want or need, and then turn them into a believer at the end, that's ideal. That's perfect.
So pretty much taking like what an idea of what they'd want from their mind for you to as an artist to be able to put it in front of them visually, being able to see it, and then actually being able to have it on their, their property, like they walk on it every day and like, wow, that looks amazing. Like went from my mind to the floor. Like that kind of thing is like what you're aiming for. Is like
Exactly.
you want them to be extremely happy with what you've done for them.
Yes. Yeah. It's like a tattoo, let's say, what's your favorite football team again? Eagles,
Carolina.
right? Carolina.
No,
That's right. I thought it was
no.
the Eagles. All
I'm a
right.
weird
So
one, I know.
let's say you wanted a tattoo. You wanted something to do with the Carolina Panthers, but you don't know exactly what it is. You put that in the hands of the artist sometimes, and by the end of it, you could be completely shocked at what they were able to envision for you, and it could come out better than you ever imagined. So it's kind of the same type of feel in there. It's kind of the same type of process. You have an idea, you want an upgrade, and then boom, by the time that end result is there, you're just kind of blown away by how much that was able to transform.
Then it makes you want to do another one.
Yeah, man, that's it. That's how you get hooked right there.
What do you wish more homeowners and business owners understood before they reached out about an epoxy project?
Yeah, it is costly.
Anything in life worth having doesn't come easy or cheap.
That's it, man. And going and looking and giving the quote, sometimes it scares people because like I was saying before, they're top quality products. It's not just something that you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's. So a lot of these products have to get either shipped in by freight or by plane. It's there's only a couple suppliers out there for these types of products, so they kind of got the market cornered. So therefore, just the materials alone sometimes make up more than half of the cost of the whole job. To get somebody a really good deal, it wouldn't be by cutting costs of materials. It would have to be cutting costs of my labor. And certain jobs, it's just not feasible for me to do that.
And that makes sense. When you call a plumber, you don't pay them for the 20 minutes that it took them to fix the sink. You pay them for the 20 years of experience that they had so that it didn't cost you as a homeowner 20 times as much for something later on.
Right. I like that.
So looking forward, where is Flowstate Applications headed and what are you working towards right now?
So right now it's, something I'm trying to do on the side. But eventually if I could evolve into full-time and just be completely, I could completely support my life and my family off of just Flowstate, then that's the goal. That's where I'm at. Being able to maybe do some high-end commercial projects, maybe for like car dealerships or a fancy restaurant. That's kind of my bar right now and my goal is to take on a huge warehouse of high-end cars or a big restaurant with a big name behind it, something like that.
What would you tell someone who is thinking about starting a trade business like this from scratch?
I hope you have some time on your hands because there's a lot of research that goes into it. There's new products that are coming out every day. So being up to date on those new products and when to suggest them and in what environments and situations to apply these new products. It's just endless. Like the business is growing, the industry is growing rapidly. So it's just kind of staying on it every day, staying up to date every day, and really putting your name out there. I would suggest the top two things are to stay alert and be up to date on the products and to keep putting your name out there. Whether that means flyers or Facebook ads or even going door to door, man, making cold calls. That's how they used to do it back in the day. So just going to door, maybe handing out a flyer, introducing yourself, maybe express your vision for what you see. If they have the garage door open, say, hey, I could really see your garage looking good with this type of system down. You could take 100 shots, but all it takes is getting that one that would really, get you out of the hole if you're in a hole, or we'll get the ball rolling for you. Is that one job. All you need is that one job that turned out great for you, and you're on a roll from there. That's
and
it.
stay on top of your business and your industry, get that kind of thing.
Yeah, don't go cold, because then people are gonna be like, well, is he still doing that? Did he give up? You want to make sure that you're active. You want people to know that you're out there looking for it. I think it's simple, but it's a lot of persistence.
The way that I see it is it's simple, but it's not easy. Like, you can tell yourself you're going to the gym, but how many times are you going to the gym to get that muscle growth, or being able to run that mile and that sort of time? It takes persistence. It takes time to build.
Yeah, you don't want to plateau. That's kind of where, if I could put it into one word, I would say avoid that plateau.
I like the quote, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. That's one that I really like.
That's another good one.
All right. So closing out, where can people find you, and what is the best way to reach out if they want to quote or to want to follow what you are building?
Yep. So I have a Facebook page. That would be Flowstate Applications LLC on Facebook. If you're looking to get a hold of me, my information is all on that page. But if not, I have an email. It's Kody.Whitford@flowstateapplications.com. And also, you can give me a call at 518-586-1215. And I'm pretty much available 24 hours a day. If I get a call at 3 a.m, I may not answer it, but I will surely call you back. Whenever you're looking to upgrade your space, I'm willing to come out there and give you a free quote.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to specifically add to this interview, either about you or your business, like what you're trying to build as a reputation kind of thing, or just to tell people that are thinking about starting their own business?
Yeah, like I said earlier in the interview, I would say if people are looking to start their own business, you have to do. You can't just talk about it, because talking about it, you don't get nothing done. And you may get doubted. You may not have the support you want. But the important thing is, if you want something bad enough, you will work towards it, and you have to work towards it. Talking about it stays in that stage. You stay in the talking stage. Once you start making moves towards that, whether it's just even opening a business banking account or opening the LLC, you don't know what you're doing yet. You have now moved to the doing stage, right? So just breaking that barrier into the doing stage, you'd be surprised how fast things can unravel for you, and how fast that your interest grows in it. Just do it, man. That's all you gotta do is take that next step into the doing stage. Don't get stuck in the talking stage.
I like that, and I agree with that so much, because it took me forever to actually make the confidence of just making the Facebook page, or telling somebody that I didn't start the business for, that I started the business, that kind of thing. So, all right. Do you have any questions you want to ask me, or anything you want to ask me?
Yeah, I got one question for you. We can close it out like this. What is it that you do on a day-to-day basis to keep your interest in bookkeeping? Like, what makes you strive for the industry or the job of bookkeeping?
Really, I like variety. I like being able to, I love psychology, so learning how other businesses function, as well as being able to help and assist them. Like you have contractors that have no idea what their profit margins are, or they have money coming in, but they don't know how much is going out and how much they're wasting, or that kind of thing. I like the categorization. For me, it's like, it feels like an accomplishment. It's, taking something off of someone else's plate, takes their pressure off of them. And then when tax time comes, it's like, oh, here's here for my accountant. And oh, I can write off X amount, and I don't have to stress about it every year and have to worry about this stuff adding up, because, one day turns into a week turns into a month turns into a year. And I've already had a few people that have had several years of had to do cleanups, and that stuff can add up, and not only just for my services, but for you as well. And that whole time that you weren't doing anything, you could have been making much more money. You could have known to price things much better off. You were trying to get the big jobs because you thought they were making more money, but because of how much labor and material you had to put towards that, you were skipping out on the little guys that your profit margins were so much more. Your reach and reputation could have been much more effective. Like it gives a second opinion on someone that's not judging, that kind of thing. Like, I'm here to help you. I don't want to overstep your boundaries. I'm here to tell you where you're at and help where I can. I mean, I'm in my business for a reason. I'm not trying to get in your business. I'm not trying to learn, do yours, but I'm interested in how you think, because the more that I can help you, the more that I might take from you to be able to help someone else in theirs. I'd want to be like that go-to guy. Like, I work with contractors. They're like, hey, Devin, do you know a guy that does epoxy flooring? Oh yeah, I do actually. Let me give him a call, see if he'd be interested in that kind of thing. Or, you run into someone and be like, oh, I don't know a guy, but my bookkeeper might know a guy. Like, he might know a guy that could build a deck for me and, see some jobs, build like that kind of network. I want to be like the go-to guy. Like, yes, I'm socially awkward in groups, but one-on-one, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But I completely forgot the main question that you asked. But
No, I
gotta,
was going to say, what keeps you enthused was the question. And I knew, you answered it for me. You get a good satisfaction out of helping people out, taking a little bit of a load off their plate. That kind of is what keeps you going, is knowing that, hey man, Devin really helped me out here. And that makes you feel good. That's what keeps you going.
Yeah. Being able to help people, take some stress off of their own plate with their own business and that kind of thing.
Mm.
Kody Whitford, Flowstate Applications. If you need your floors epoxied, reach out to them, ask them questions. It doesn't hurt to reach out and just ask. So I think this is Clark Bookkeeping signing off. You want to say anything before we finish this for the people?
Yeah, man, I just want to say thanks for having me. I think this is a great idea. It's a great way to meet some new people and start stacking up them connections. Like you said, if you know a guy, that's great. But if you know a few guys, that's even better, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It gives exposure for everybody.
I appreciate your time, man. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, anytime. Till next time.